set up now. My neighbors are out there, which I'm not all that excited about. One thing that I see guys do when they shoot for groups for accuracy to see what velocities they're most accurate at, they'll have the chronograph hanging off the end of the barrel. That changes all the harmonics. Believe it or not, these do work where they're not strapped to the barrel. Just where I have it now. It's not flawless, but it works about 97% of the time. Throw a magazine in there and see where we're at. We're going to start off with the 33.95 or the 34 grain pellets. Get zoomed in here. That might help. Then I'm just going to throw a couple sighters in the middle. I have the target marked where I want it. I'm not going to make you guys suffer through all this, but I will show the end result and I'll kind of fast forward through all this. Okay guys, what I wanted you to keep in mind is that how I tuned the gun. Originally I had the gun set up, like I said, at 150 bar, 150, actually a little over 150, and I was shooting 34 grain slugs. And there I go with the Uz. Anyway, I wanted to turn the gun back, up the shot count, and so that's what I did. I essentially set my hammer spring at max, opened up my valve adjuster all the way, saw what I could get out of the reg, and then started backing those things down, and 107 was where I ended up. Just something for you guys to keep in mind when you're tuning your gun. Once you get to that max pressure, or that pressure that you're looking for your velocity, then you start turning your other adjustables down. Okay, I went through a whole magazine with 33.95 grains. Went from about 240 bar to about 195 bar. Now we're going to go with the slugs. I was only able to get a couple shots at power setting 3 with the pellets. I really don't want to shoot them at 786 feet per second, which is pretty slow. From what I can see on the target, most accurate was probably power setting 5, but I did throw one there. The wind kind of picks up and dies down and picks up and dies down. It is only 43 yards, so it shouldn't be affecting it too much, but enough I think to either it's throwing me off or throwing the pellet off, one or the other. I'm going to continue on with the slugs on the other target at 43 yards. And once I determine which speeds I like the best, I'm going to reach out to 65 and see how they group up out there with a couple different power settings on both the pellets and the slugs. Onward. Just to reiterate, I don't normally use and does and all that. For some reason, whenever I'm recording a YouTube video, I know this variable windiness is not exactly the ideal way to do this. Got about 165 on the bar, or on the regulator, or on the tank rather. here and see what we got. I am gonna start making my excuses now, just so it's all clear. So, essentially, it's like I threw one of those on the power level 5 for the 34 grainers. The slugs worked. You know, they both shot really well at max. I mean, I guess that's where I want to be. Actually, the pellets shot really well at 4 also. Said I only got 2 off in the 3 power setting. I don't know that I want to shoot them that low though, because it's kind of slow. It was under 800 feet per second, so I'm not super impressed with that. I think we're going to kind of try to stick with the max on the 34 grainers, and I don't know, between the max and the, I only get 4 shots in that 5 power. Looks like they started, as soon as they started slowing down, it looks like the slugs started spreading out. I'm almost thinking I was shooting them right around there's my Huz again, about 9:30 with the 5 power setting on the slugs. I'm going to try the 5 power setting on the slugs, and we'll try the 5 power setting on the pellets too, because both those seem to do real well. Maybe I'll try max and 5 on the pellets and max and 5 on the slugs. See where we're at. For giggles. You can see I went through, I'll show you the tank pressure. Give me your opinion on whether or not you'd top it off or go ahead and throw a few more down range. But my reg is set at 107, and you can see we're still right around 165 on the tank. That was after 2 magazines, 1 magazine of slugs, 1 magazine of the 34 grain JSBs. So guess I think I am going to go top it off. Okay, here's the deal. What I did was I loaded up 14 in each magazine, 14 of the slugs, 14 of the pellets. I think we've covered what they are. I'm going to shoot 2 at power setting 5 right at the middle of the target, 2 at power setting high or max right in the middle of the target, and then the rest of the group, you know, with 2 shots in between just to kind of even out the pressure on the gun. You know, kind of clear the gun with two shots at the middle. But on the left side of the target, I'm going to go with the pellets, and on the right side of the target, I'm going to go with the slugs. Let's do this. What I wanted to say here is I wanted to give the gun a chance to balance out. So anytime I change the power setting, I would also fire a couple shots at the center target in order to regulate the rifle. Alright, let's go take a look. Looks pretty good. It looks like I shot a lot better at 65 than I did at 43. In my opinion, it also looks like the slugs like a little bit slower than what they originally. They are lighter slugs, obviously. They seem to like power setting 5 a little better than they did max, but the pellets were the exact opposite was true. It liked to fly at the 870, 880 range instead of the 860, 850 range. Although they both look like pretty decent groups. You can see this is with the slugs. I mean, that's a 3/4 inch group probably at 65 yards, which is, you know, that's MOA. So right here I had one flyer that's at max with the pellets. This is at max with the slugs. And this is at 5, power setting 5 with the pellets. It seems to me that the pellets, with the exception of that one flyer there, that's probably a little over 3/4 of an inch group, but I probably threw that one. Those are all touching each other. This is actually pretty promising here. 3 of them on top of each other, and then, you know, I'm not the best shot in the world, but I have a little bit of faith in myself. As that being said, I guess we're going to end up shooting the slugs, 26.8, or the 26.9, 26 point whatever they are, the NSA 25 caliber slugs. And run those at right between 920 and 930, and the pellets at 33.95 grains. I think we're going to keep those right around 870, 880, just based on the results we got here. I appreciate you guys watching. Sorry, it kind of, hopefully I'll speed through all this when I edit it and just kind of pick out the important parts. But okay, I'd like to wrap things up with some final thoughts and some images of the target. I was actually going to put pictures up there and try to do an audio overlay, and it's just, frankly, this is much easier. I'm going to go ahead and pick you guys up and show you what I got. This is our 43-yard target, and the information is there. This was with the hammer spring at max. That's not a horrible group. I mean, the information is there. This is with the 33.9 grain JSBs. This whole target was the 39 point. That's max. This is 5. I mean, it's, you know, nothing to 43 yards. I'm not exactly happy with that. But you know, then we went down. That's not a bad group, and that's with the hammer spring at 4. We were 810 to 820 feet per second. I hear on windy conditions, this might not be a bad speed to shoot. I only got 2 off with the hammer spring on 3, and you pretty much can get the information there with that one. Then we went over to the slugs. The slugs weren't much better. These are 940 to 950 feet per second. Again, 43 yards. This was a 43-yard target where I kind of made a determination of what I wanted to shoot. It's not a bad group. Again, hammer spring at 5. You know, kind of backed it down, 920 to 935. Not too bad. Now, down to the hammer spring at 4. They did seem to start opening up a little bit, even at 43 yards. I'm thinking the little less stability, maybe some barrel harmonics caused it to open up. Same way with the hammer spring at 3. Started to open up a little bit. Now, this is what's real interesting. I went out to 65 yards. We're going to pull the 65-yard target out. These were the pellets with the hammer spring at max. I threw this one. There's no doubt about it. But the rest of them, I mean, they're on top of each other. They're stringing up to down, which is kind of weird. And then we went down to the hammer spring on 5, and they opened up with the pellets. Now, is this me? Is this the wind? It was variable winds, and I do apologize for the winds today. I don't have all the fancy equipment that guys do. These were all sighters, of course. Then we went over to the slugs, and I ran it at max. That's yeah, max 840 to 850. They were pretty much flying all over the place. I wasn't all that impressed with that until I bumped it down to the hammer spring at 5, and then look what happened here. These tighten up. We got 3 on top of each other, and with that variable wind that I was dealing with today, this is pretty respectable. I can deal with that. You know, 65 isn't that far, but come on, that's with a varying from 7 to 15 mile an hour wind. Yeah, that works. I'm going to try to transfer you guys up here. So, with my final thoughts, and there's my again, and trying to get things all dialed in, I think I'm going to run them slugs at hammer setting 5, about 920 to 930 feet per second. That I was pretty impressed with, and I'm going to run the 33.9 grain JSBs at the max hammer. So oddly enough, when I'm putting slugs in the gun, I'm going to turn it down. Kind of weird. Again, apologize for the winds today. Don't have all the fancy equipment that some people do, but I'm trying to keep this short. But thanks for watching, and I'm reaching up there. Please like and subscribe and all that.